It's different seeing them up close. We're not meant to share the planet with those things.
There's no such thing as more than my son.
The story begins with panicked voices echoing through military radios. Around the world, sudden and terrifying creatures launch brutal attacks on humanity. Entire cities are wiped out, including large parts of the Netherlands and Colorado. But there's one shocking discovery. Any area above 8,000 feet remains completely safe. The army fights back with full force, yet these creatures overpower them. 3 years later, the few survivors have retreated into the mountains because the creatures physically cannot climb above 8,000 feet. In a small town hidden deep in the Colorado Rockies, a group of survivors tries to live a quiet, cautious life. One of them is a young boy named Hunter. One risky day, Hunter crosses below the safe altitude line and uses binoculars to look at people living on a distant mountain. But while returning, he notices a strange red glowing light behind him. A creature has caught his scent. Terrified, Hunter runs uphill as fast as he can. The moment he crosses the safe height limit, the creature suddenly stops, unable to follow. Back home, Hunter tells his father, Will, everything. Will angrily scolds him, reminding Hunter that his lungs are weak. Running like that could have killed him because Hunter depends on oxygen every night to survive. Later, Will goes hunting with Katie, a close friend of his late wife, Tara. Will admits that Hunter keeps going below the boundary because he misses kids his age and wants someone to play with. But that place is also the last spot where Hunter saw his mother alive, making it even more dangerous emotionally. During the hunt, Will and Katie manage to kill a deer and carry it back. On the way, they meet their neighbor Nina, who is testing special bullets on the creature's tough outer shells. Before the collapse, Nina was a brilliant scientist, and now her only goal is to find a way to kill these monsters. That night, Will hears the alarm from Hunter's breathing machine. He rushes in and replaces the oxygen filter just in time. Because Hunter was born premature, his lungs never fully developed. When Will realizes the filters are almost finished, he makes a terrifying decision to travel below the safe zone to Boulder, hoping abandoned hospitals might still have supplies. The next day, Will spends meaningful time with Hunter. He teaches him how to protect potato plants from the cold and how to cook fish properly. It's also Hunter's birthday, so Will buys the last box of macaroni and cheese from the town store, Hunter's favorite meal. While eating, Hunter grows quiet and admits he feels lonely. He has no friends to talk to. He asks why they can't contact other survivors through the radio. Will explains that their electricity is barely enough to power Hunter's breathing machine, so radio contact isn't possible. Instead, the mountain communities communicate only through signal flags, silently watching each other from afar. After dinner, Katie brings 2 beers. Sitting on the porch, Will and Katie quietly remember their carefree lives before the collapse. From a distance, they watch Nina testing her new experiments, sparks flashing in the darkness. For a brief moment, everything feels almost normal again. Later that night, Hunter struggles to breathe once more. The oxygen filters are completely used up, forcing Will to inject him with emergency medication. That's when Will realizes there's no time left. If he waits any longer, Hunter won't survive. In the middle of the night, Will goes to Nina's house. During their tense conversation, it's revealed that Nina once traveled to the Boulder lab to collect weapon supplies, the same trip where Will's wife Tara was killed. Will carries deep anger toward Nina, but she's the only person who has ever returned alive from that route. With no other choice, Will asked her to come with him to the hospital. Nina calls the idea suicidal and refuses at first, but Will reminds her that she still owes a debt to Tara. After Will leaves, Nina begins building a special compass. Haunted by memories of that deadly journey, watching her friends die, including Tara, her guilt finally breaks her. In the end, she agrees to the mission. Will asks a local woman to take care of Hunter for 5 days. The next morning, he goes to the armory to gather weapons. That's when Katie confronts him, angry that he planned to leave without telling her. It's clear she deeply cares about him. In the end, Katie grabs a gun and insists on coming along. Will refuses, but Katie makes it clear she's not asking for permission. She says going outside alone is a death sentence. Survival demands teamwork. Will finally reveals that Nina is joining them too. This only makes Katie more stubborn. If they're going to fight, she wants it settled now. Outside, Nina is already prepared. She warns Katie that the creatures seen up close are nothing like the ones visible from the mountains. They tear humans apart in seconds, and bullets barely slow them down. Only a direct shot to the face can stop them. and only for a few seconds. Before leaving, Will promises Hunter he'll return in 5 days. Hunter coldly reminds him that his mother made the same promise before her final trip with Nina. The words hit hard, but the mission must continue. The three of them set out, following a planned route to minimize time below the safe altitude. To save time, they decide to use a ski lift. Along the way, tension grows between Nina and Katie. Neither trusts the other. When they spot a destroyed military convoy below, they decide to scavenge for supplies. Among abandoned vehicles and fallen soldiers, they collect whatever they can. Nina explains that her compass can detect creatures within half a mile, sensing their extremely powerful magnetic fields. She assigns Katie to keep watch while Will searches for weapons, and Nina cuts a piece of the creature's hardened skin for research. Will finds a grenade launcher, but has no idea how to use it. Confident and calm, Katie mounts it onto her rifle herself. Before moving on, a heated argument erupts between Nina and Katie. Nina mocks her, and Katie blames Nina for Tara's death. The fight nearly turns physical, but with danger all around them, the three are forced to push forward, together, whether they like it or not. Along the way, they spot a massive herd of wild horses. It's a silent reminder that with humans gone, nature is slowly reclaiming the lower lands. Soon, the trio reaches an abandoned ski resort, where a lift connects to the next mountain ridge, their fastest way forward. Suddenly, Nina checks her compass. A red warning light flashes. A creature is dangerously close, moving toward them through the forest. Katie urges everyone to run uphill, but Nina knows there's no time left. Trusting her, Will sprints toward the control room to power up the lift. As the creature closes in, Katie fires the grenade launcher. The explosion briefly stops it, but causes no real damage. Katie and Nina hold their ground, firing nonstop, buying Will precious seconds. The power comes back on. The lift starts moving. Will and Nina jump onto a chair and begin ascending. Katie climbs a support pole and leaps toward the moving lift, barely grabbing the edge. Will reaches out to pull her up, then disaster strikes. The creature slams the cable with its long arm. The violent jolt shakes the chair loose, and all three crash to the ground. Luckily, the fall isn't too high. They recover instantly and sprint toward the safe altitude line. The moment they cross it, the creature freezes, unable to follow. That night, they take shelter inside one of the resort cabins. Before sleeping, they share a bottle of whiskey. Nina explains that the initial attacks were so fast and overwhelming that humanity never had time to study the creature's weaknesses. Civilization collapsed within days. She also reveals something even stranger. The creatures don't attack animals, only humans. They don't even eat their victims. They exist solely to wipe out humanity. No one has ever seen them sleep. And most confusing of all, no one knows why they can't climb above a certain altitude. As Will lies awake, memories of his wife Tara flood his mind. Before the Boulder mission, he had begged her not to go, warning that Nina would sacrifice anything to make her name immortal. He believed Nina, with no family of her own, didn't truly understand the value of life, but Tara had refused to listen. Will fears the future. One day, Hunter's filters will run out completely, maybe in a year, maybe sooner, and even then, the monsters will still be waiting below. The next day, the trio reaches the entrance of a massive mine that cuts straight through the mountain. Nina is shocked and furious that Will never mentioned this route earlier. She explains that while both ends of the mine sit above the safe altitude, the tunnels dip far below it. She warns them that even a slight downward slope could take them into deadly territory. The danger is extreme. These creatures emerge from underground, move easily in complete darkness, and can detect human carbon dioxide from a distance. Worst of all, Nina's compass won't work properly inside the mountain. With no other option left, they put on helmets, switch on their flashlights, and step into the dark mine, knowing that once inside, there may be no easy way out. On the other side of the tunnel, they realize the exit door is sealed shut. With no other option, they climb down a ladder into another tunnel. A tense argument breaks out. Running would create noise and heavy breathing, increasing carbon dioxide, exactly what the creatures can sense from far away. Nina explains that CO2 is their biggest weakness, so they agree the only way forward is to move slowly and carefully. Suddenly, a faint red glow appears in a lower tunnel. Panic sets in, and they start running. Katie throws a grenade to block the path, but the blast only slows the creature for a few seconds. With no escape left, they squeeze into a narrow tunnel. They switch off their flashlights and lie flat, holding their breath. The creature begins searching. Its long arms wave through the air as it creeps closer. The tension is unbearable. At the last second, Will ignites a flare, distracting the creature and giving them a chance to crawl deeper inside. Katie leads the way, but out of of the darkness, another creature suddenly appears. In a brutal instant, it impales Katie with its arm and drags her screaming into the shadows. Will and Nina are devastated, helpless to stop it. Broken but alive, they find another ladder and finally escape the mine back into the safe zone. After mourning Katie's death, they move on and reach a ranger station to spend the night. Inside, Will finds a box of macaroni and cheese, Hunter's favorite meal. He remembers all the times he cooked it for his son, and the weight of loss grows heavier. By the fire, Nina shares her theory. She believes the creature's skin creates a powerful electromagnetic field. If a bullet could disrupt that field, the creature might explode from the inside. But she needs lab chemicals to prove it. Will snaps, calling the idea insane. He angrily says his wife died chasing this same madness. Nina responds calmly, "This isn't magic. It's science, even if it's only a theory for now." The next morning, Will and Nina take the ranger's vehicle and descend toward the safe boundary, where the city and hospitals still stand. Driving fast, they reach the hospital and sneak inside. They search the upper floors, but most shelves are empty. Finally, Will finds a storage room packed with oxygen filters. He hurriedly fills his bag. At that exact moment, Nina's compass starts screaming. A creature is nearby. As they try to escape, the monster smashes through the walls, charging toward them. They run for the next floor, but a long arm bursts through the wall and grabs Will. Nina slams it with a fire axe, loosening its grip and saving him. Will activates the fire suppression system, filling the halls with smoke and water. Using the chaos as cover, they reach a room filled with oxygen cylinders. There, Will forms a desperate plan. He tells Nina to run while he stays behind. When the creature attacks, Will fires a precise shot at one of the cylinders. A massive explosion launches the creature out of the building, leaving it unconscious outside. But Nina doesn't leave. When Will asks why she didn't run, she answers honestly, running won't save them forever. Today it's survival. In months or a year, it'll be the same nightmare again. Humans can't live like this. Now, they must fight. If they can prove these creatures can be killed, the people trapped in the mountains, and the rest of the world, will rise together. On the way, they fail to notice the creature outside slowly moving again. When they reach the laboratory where Nina once worked, her confidence returns. She begins coating bullets with chemicals, testing different reactions on the creature's hardened skin. Science gives her purpose again. While Nina works, Will wanders through the building and enters Nina's old office. There, he finds a photo of her family. Shocked, he confronts her. Broken and emotional, Nina finally tells the truth. On the day of the attack, she went to work even though it was her day off. In doing so, she lost her children. She admits she can never forgive herself, and sometimes wishes she had died with them. Nina also accepts that bringing Tara on that mission was her mistake. She trusted too much in her own ability to stop the creatures, and she was wrong. Will admits something painful too. He says he blames Nina because blaming himself would hurt even more. In the end, both realize that blaming anyone won't change the past. The early experiments fail. Frustrated, Will says it's time to leave, but Nina refuses. She insists on staying and continuing the work. If she succeeds, she promises to come after them in her car, a vehicle that's been sitting unused in the parking lot for 3 years. Will wants to help, but Nina stops him. This is her responsibility. She has to do it alone. Hunter needs those oxygen filters, and without them, he won't survive. Nina pushes harder. Using a blowtorch, she strengthens the coating on the bullets. When the compass needle freezes, signaling a creature nearby, Nina spots rechargeable batteries. That's when she chooses cobalt, a material used to create powerful, heat-resistant magnets. With this, she creates and charges the first cobalt-coated bullet. At that exact moment, a creature smashes into the building. Nina fires. Meanwhile, Will drives the ranger vehicle toward the mountains. Suddenly, a tire blows out. The vehicle skids, crashes into a rock, and flips over. Will is knocked unconscious. When he wakes up, it's already evening. A creature roars nearby. Grabbing his bag, Will runs on foot toward higher ground. Across the rough terrain, multiple creatures chase him relentlessly. As Will nears the safe zone, another creature blocks his path. Then a third appears. He's completely surrounded. Desperate, Will fires his gun, knowing this is a losing fight. Then, something incredible happens. One of the creatures suddenly collapses and explodes. From the mountain above, Nina stands with her rifle, loaded with cobalt bullets. The shots short-circuit the creature's electromagnetic fields, causing them to detonate from the inside. Nina takes down the rest. Inside their shattered bodies, robotic components are revealed. The truth is finally clear. These creatures are not alive. They are machines, designed specifically to hunt humans, programmed never to climb above 8,000 feet. Their advanced design suggests something even more terrifying. They may have come from another world. Will and Nina finally return to the village. The moment Hunter sees his father, he breaks down and hugs him tightly, tears rolling down his face. It's a reunion filled with relief, pain, and hope. Nina climbs the flagpole and raises the Jolly Roger flag, sending a powerful signal to other other survivor settlements, the message is clear: she has found a way to fight back. The good news spreads through the radio network. Inspired, the villagers begin using whatever resources they have to create cobalt-coated bullets of their own. For the first time in years, people aren't just hiding, they're preparing to fight. At the village memorial near the river, Will and Nina place a single bullet engraved with Katie's name, honoring her sacrifice and bravery. She won't be forgotten. Then together, they move to turn Nina's dream into reality. A volunteer team, armed with the new weapons, descends from the mountains toward the danger below. The camera pulls back, revealing the vast landscape. Explosions and flashes of light spread across the distance as the alien machines are destroyed one by one. Humanity has finally stopped running. Humanity has started fighting back. And that message of hope is where the film ends. So, what did you think about this movie? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing stories. See you in the next one.